Hey guys, welcome back to Duffy Rides. We just got back from a great day of riding. Today I want to talk to you about 5 reasons why you might choose the XC over the SX model, and maybe a couple reasons why you won't. We'll get to that later in the video. If you're just joining us, please like and subscribe. Helps out the channel a lot. And yeah, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So let me just preface this by saying that I've been riding and racing motocross since I was 6 years old. I'm now 39, so I've been riding and racing for just over 30 years. I've owned or ridden all the bikes, and I've owned almost all the brands. My skill level is an A rider, but these days my priority is just to have fun on weekends. I primarily ride motocross, but I've been looking to get out in the trails more often, and that's why we're here looking at the 250 XC today. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, starting with number one, the gearing for off-road and motocross. KTM knocks it out the park here. For wide open trails, traversing from one trail to another, you're able to cruise along at a lot lower RPM and put a lot less stress on the motor when compared to the SX model. For some, this alone is enough reason to go with the XC. But for others, there's a flip side. The XC gearing isn't perfect for motocross either, and while I feel KTM made the best compromise for most riders, faster riders will want to go up one tooth on the rear sprocket. This will get the most out of third gear in the corners, and it's a simple fix. It makes a real difference, and it's something that I plan to do as well, so stay tuned for the video on that. Number 2, the suspension. The clickers really offer a wide range of adjustability and actually do make a very noticeable difference when going from the recommended motocross settings to the trail settings. I've tried this out a bunch of times and I am blown away with how they've managed to do this. Now, there are limitations for some motocross applications, but I'll get to that a bit later in the video. Overall, the stock valving is great for weekend warriors and a very versatile offering, allowing you to get a dial setting for off-road and the track surprisingly well. All it takes is just a few clickers, a matter of minutes, you're dialed. As a casual racer at nearly 39 years old, notice I said 39 and not 40, I'd be more than happy to race this bike just the way it is. Moving on to number 3, the larger fuel tank. Besides the obvious benefit to a larger tank for trail riding, which is more mileage, there's literally no reason other than for looks on the left side of the bike not to appreciate the larger tank. I mean, for motocross, I can get 2 Sundays worth of riding at the track. For vet riders, parents, or just time-crunched riders, this is one less trip to the gas station. The fuel tank is also the same by the seat as the Supercross model, or the SX model I should say, meaning it's not any more bulky, and it's every bit as flat and ergonomic as the SX model. Absolutely a no-brainer in my view. Number 4, the motor. This motor is every bit as good as the SX for motocross. I love the motor, it rips. It's so much fun to ride, delivering the linear, tractable power that revs and pulls through the mid and top. More so than the 300, which won't rev as high, and not to mention the 300 feels slightly heavier due to the forces created by the larger piston moving up and down, working against you when you're trying to lean the bike over in corners. If you look at what many of the pro racers are choosing for woods racing, they usually go with the 250, for that little bit of extra maneuverability. Now the maps are not that noticeable. This motor comes with 2 maps, aggressive and a more linear power delivery, but for me, there's not much of a difference. I just leave it in the aggressive map and have a ball. For me, I think this is an area that KTM will improve over the years. Right now, it's still early days for TBI bikes, and you know, yes, the 2 maps are a nice feature, but I think it was more of a marketing gimmick that they weren't really ready to deliver on. So I just go with a slightly more aggressive power band, which is the aggressive map. I find that's perfect for me. Some riders might want the linear, but for motocross I definitely want that extra punch in the corners, so I go with the aggressive map all day long. Now, whether KTM will offer the adjustable mapping functionality that they recently introduced on the 2024 4-stroke models is a question we all want answered. I have no doubt that we'll get there. I think it's only a matter of time before we see these 2-strokes coming with the adjustable mapping app that you can adjust on your smartphone. Yeah, I think the future looks bright for 2-strokes, and kudos to KTM for keeping it going. Number 5 is the convenience. Now I know this sounds like nitpicking, and you could definitely achieve these things on the SX model as well, but the damn kickstand, the larger tank, the versatile suspension setup really do add up to make a bike that's always ready to adapt to whatever situation or riding style you throw at it. This all adds up to more time on the bike, and at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. Now, let's get into why you might not choose the XC. Number 1, the suspension. And you're sitting here asking yourself, what? This guy just said a minute ago that the suspension was great. Well, it is great, but there are a couple scenarios I would rather see you guys go with the SX model. You ride and race motocross only and are a B or A level racer. If that's you, then it's a no-brainer. But for some of you wondering if it's possible to race the XC, there are a couple scenarios that the guys on the SX models will have the advantage, and that is on the track, that have technical rhythm sections whereby you need the suspension and thus the bike to recover quickly and be fully composed for the bike immediately after. Think of a step on or step off whoop sections or very fast sections where you might want to scrub the first jump and be fully composed for the jump to follow immediately after. In this scenario, the XC is slower to regain its composure, and while this scenario is likely not common on most average motocross tracks, if racing and winning here in this game of motocross is your top priority, then go for the SX model. The SX suspension will rebound faster, stay more composed, and be better for the aggressive, serious racer on the motocross track. Number 2, if you only ride motocross but want e-start, well, that's no longer an advantage that the XC models have. Starting in 2023, KTM made all 2-stroke SX models e-start. It used to be just a few years ago that vet guys would go for the XC just for this reason alone, but those days are now behind us. Thanks KTM for giving us what we all wanted. As for me, I went with the SX model clearly, and I'm so glad that I did. If I were racing motocross only, then I'd gone the SX route, but the trade-off just isn't worth it. I'd much rather have a bike that I'd look forward to riding in the trails 30% of the time than a bike that feels maxed out and deflects off of every route and rock. For the motocross tracks that I ride, there are no rhythm sections. We're talking straightforward real motocross tracks here, and the XC handles that just fine. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you guys like this style of content, then please do me a huge favor. Please like and subscribe. Helps me out a lot. Please drop a comment below. Let's have a discussion. Throw your questions in there. I'd love to get back to you guys and talk about these bikes. I'll get back to you right away. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.